Breaking news as we come on the air tonight. Denver police says one of their officers was involved in a shooting in Montbello.
Police say that one person was taken to the hospital with a gunshot to the leg. None of the officers were hurt. They just talked about this in the last few minutes. We have a crew headed to that scene in Montbello, and we'll keep you updated.
The mother of a man investigators say was killed by his cellmate wants to know why her son was booked into the Denver Detention Center and never came home. 9
News reporter Spencer Soysher joins us now on this. And Spencer, the man charged with killing his cellmate came in on a DUI in Denver, but now we also know he's a person of interest in 2 killings in Aurora.
Yeah, Vincent Chacon's family says he should have been safe in jail. Now they're questioning what happened to him behind bars.
He only had one free call, so I spoke with him for 2 minutes.
Just one call from inside the downtown Denver Detention Center.
My daughter spoke to him.
When Vincent Chacon's family heard from him Friday, he'd just been booked into the jail on a warrant for petty theft.
My son was getting ready to come home, and all of a sudden he passes like...
His mother, Angela Hernandez, says that call from jail was the last time anyone in their family spoke with Vincent. Early Monday morning, he was found dead inside his cell. The Denver Sheriff's Department says he was strangled to death by his cellmate, Ricky Roybal Smith.
They need to be accountable for putting him in the same cell.
Roybal Smith has a lengthy criminal history, including convictions for assault, menacing, DUI, and vehicular assault. He was out on parole Sunday when he was booked in jail on a DUI charge. But what Vincent's family learned next shocked them.
My daughter-in-law looked it up and found out that he was the one who did the two stabbings.
9 News Investigates was first to report the Aurora Police Department considers Roybal Smith a person of interest in the deadly stabbings of 2 unhoused people over the weekend.
The man who killed 2 people before that gets in the same cell with him. That should have never happened.
Aurora police have not charged Roybal Smith in either stabbing, and it's not clear if the Denver Sheriff's Department knew he may have been connected to the stabbings in Aurora. That doesn't matter to Vincent's family. They want to know why he never came home.
I just want justice for my son.
We reached out to the Denver Sheriff's Department tonight trying to ask them some of the family's questions, but we have not heard back yet. Spencer Soysher, 9 News.
After a few storms around the state today, we're drying out and we are heating up tomorrow. 9 News meteorologist Chris Bianchi is working nights this week, delivering the news about the heat coming our way.
We got that heat tomorrow, but today we had some really annoying, disruptive storms for us, specifically one that sat out by the airport between about 3:30 and 5:30. It was really kind of one single cell, produced a 48-mile-an-hour wind gust, and it made things a real mess out at the airport. Still some residual delays because of that storm that sat over the airport. Otherwise, most of us, generally speaking, had a quieter day, though the foothills west of Loveland and Longmont had one storm earlier on. Right now, though, the metro area and really most of the state on the quiet side, we're in the low to mid 70s and a nice summer evening out there right now. Just a few leftover drips of rain for us across the northeast plains as well as the northern mountains. But again, we're basically done with the rain for us here across the northeastern part of the state. And that forecast we had over the next few hours will cool things down gradually, and typically for us, we'll be back in the mid 60s by the time you wake up tomorrow morning. Headlines, looking ahead. We got some of those storms ending right now. Tomorrow, it's on the hotter and drier side. I'll show you how hot it gets. And then the 4th could be a bit stormy. On details in a few minutes.
A Republican-led bill that would promote President Trump's agenda and make cuts to social safety nets is headed back to the House. It narrowly passed the Senate today, requiring a tie-breaking vote from Vice President J.D. Vance. The bill contains $4.5 trillion in tax cuts that Republicans argue are crucial, in part because tax breaks from Trump's first term are set to expire. It would also provide $350 billion for Trump's border and national security agenda. To help pay for some of that, the bill would phase out a tax break for people who buy electric vehicles by the end of September. The bill would make cuts to Medicaid and food assistance by creating new eligibility requirements. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimates more than 11 million Americans would lose their insurance by 2034, and 3 million would not qualify for food stamps if the bill becomes law. The Trump administration is exploring revoking U.S. citizenship for some naturalized American citizens so they can be deported. The Department of Justice recently published a memo outlining plans to denaturalize citizens for reasons ranging from committing war crimes to being suspected of lying on immigration forms. The memo describes the process under civil law, not criminal proceedings. That means the government would have a lower bar to provide proof, and a defendant would not have the right to an attorney. While the memo lays out certain circumstances, immigration advocates fear it would be used more broadly.
It seems ripe for abuse and setting up a situation where the government, the Trump administration, can target people that they deem as political rivals, right, who are naturalized citizens.
Denaturalization is not a new thing. It's been going on for decades, but right now it's a criminal procedure with a higher bar to revoke someone's citizenship, and the defendant does have a right to a counsel.
The city of Denver is going to prioritize employee performance and skills over their years of service when they decide which city employees should be laid off. Today, the Career Service Board approved that change. The city plans to begin laying people off next month as it faces a $250 million shortfall over the next 2 years. They argue this new rule will allow them to retain the best employees. City Council doesn't see it that way. 11 of 13 members of City Council sent a letter to the Career Service Board urging them not to pass the changes to allow more experienced employees to be let go. Union members argue this rule change is going to push out longtime city workers.
I don't want to be on some merit-based system. I've given you my loyalty, my trust, my love, my blood, my sweat, and my tears, and this is how you reward me?
With just weeks until the layoffs are set to begin, we still don't know how many Denver City employees will lose their job or in which departments.
Several disability rights groups are challenging Colorado's right to die law. A lawsuit filed this week argues the law discriminates against people with disabilities by allowing them to die by suicide instead of preventing it. They argue anyone with 6 months or less to live is inherently disabled, and under the current law, they could be steered toward medical-assisted suicide.
And so you've basically created this two-tiered system of medicine where some people get suicide prevention and others get suicide help. The main differentiator is somebody's disability status.
The lawsuit seeks to overturn the law that's been on the books in Colorado since voters approved it in 2016.
A state law that just kicked in creates new training requirements for gun owners who want to get or renew their concealed carry permit. Gun owners are required to attend an 8-hour training class in person. They'll pass a written exam there and a live fire exercise at the end. Backers of the law say this will encourage gun owners to be more informed and competent. Some firearms educators worry that people will see that as the only training and practice they need. The law also requires concealed carry courses to cover topics like safe storage of firearms and Colorado's red flag laws.
For the first time in more than 3 years, Barry Morphew was back in a Colorado courtroom today. Morphew smiled as he walked into court in Alamosa County today. He faces a new murder charge in the death of his wife, Suzanne. Prosecutors believe he killed her in 2020 before burying her in a shallow grave in Saguache County. His previous charges were dropped in 2022, days before he was set to stand trial. Prosecutors now claim they have new evidence tying Barry to a tranquilizer found in Suzanne's system. His attorney says he maintains his innocence. Morphew is being held on a $3 million bond. He's due back in court at the beginning of September.
A woman drove the wrong way on I-25 for more than 30 miles before a head-on collision in Denver.
That crash killed the driver. 4 others survived. 9 News Investigates' Jeremy Hohola joins us after speaking with one of those survivors.
Multiple broken bones and months of physical therapy are ahead for Sarai Aguilera. This crash derailed her new plans, but she is not bitter. In fact, she's empathetic to the wrong-way driver who died.
At age 27, Sarai Aguilera should be at her new job helping children with autism.
I will say every day, it's kind of like ups and downs of pain.
Just getting into a chair with multiple broken bones is now part of a painful road.
For sure.
She's had 6 surgeries so far.
Clavicle, right wrist, right ankle, stomach, and back.
A hard road Sarai didn't choose. A road that began on June 8th when another woman seemingly chose her road with a fatal ending. That road was I-25 the wrong direction. Sarai was also on I-25, coming back home with her boyfriend from a boating trip in Pueblo.
I have fell asleep the whole ride. The next morning I woke up at the hospital and then I found out that that's how it happened.
You don't remember anything about
Nothing, not a thing.
A witness captured the wrong-way driver on cell phone video.
Pull
over now!
And the trooper's dash cam footage shows she ignored lights and sirens for 15 miles. After the trooper ended the pursuit because it was too dangerous, the wrong-way driver traveled another 15 miles into oncoming traffic before crashing head-on with Sarai's car. We'll freeze it here. It's too violent for TV.
We can't tell if they were drunk or on anything, you know, if they were going through something mentally.
And that's still unknown.
Right, until today.
The wrong-way driver in the van was pronounced dead at the scene. Also in the van, her 3-year-old daughter and another man who lived. Sarai's boyfriend also survived his injuries.
I really hope they are recovering and, you know, they're able to heal from this because it's a very tough thing to go through.
When I asked her about her family's efforts to raise money for medical expenses, she became emotional.
Sorry, hold on.
No, it's okay.
Next is gonna be about 2 to 3 months of recovery for sure.
How do you think this has changed your life?
This has changed my life in that I'm very afraid of driving now. I was not before, I just couldn't afford a car.
2 women, nearly the same age, on the same road. One made a fatal choice. The other is alive, but she's making a choice of empathy.
Are you angry at that driver for going down the wrong way?
I'm not angry. I think they were going through something. It gives you so much ability to see past the little things. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't a little thing, you know, it was a big crash. It's changed my condition, it's changed my future. But it hasn't changed who I am. We need help sometimes. And I really wish that person had survived so they could have gotten the help they needed.
And the driver of that wrong-way van has been identified as Jaylene Miramontes, age 26. It is still unknown what her mental state was at the time. Her autopsy report and blood tests have yet to be publicly released, and police are still investigating this crash. For 9 News Investigates, I'm Jeremy Hohola.